Hello, I'm Mike Macedonio. I'm an executive director with BNI in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm joined today with Matthew Hart. Matthew Hart is one of the members last year that was in the top 1% of sponsoring new members in 2021. In all of the San Francisco Bay Area, the top 1%. Matthew, would you mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about what you do as an estate planning attorney?
Sure. Thank you so much, Mike. As Mike said, I'm an estate planning attorney. I obviously do wills, trusts, probate, and things of that nature. I am a state bar board certified specialist in that area, which means less than 1% of the attorneys are specialists in the area that I'm a specialist in California. And then finally, I focus on long-term marriage estate planning. And the reason I do is long-term marriages have certain advantages and certain things that we can plan that we can't do in short-term marriages. And so that's one of my specialties, is focusing on couples who've been together long-term, and I define that 20, 30 years. We plan very differently for them than we do for a couple that's only been married for 3 or 4 years.
Very interesting. So Matthew, could you also share, how do you do it? How are you so successful at sponsoring members during 2021?
Well, when I joined BNI, I joined what was called a pre-core, which is a group that's forming. And I was one of the last people to join before we went to a regular group, if you will. And so that meant we were still smaller than some of the bigger groups in the area that are very successful. And so I knew that one of the keys to our group growing and being successful is to have people. So as soon as I joined, I started thinking through very intentionally who would be good for our group. Obviously, we have the one person in each category, so you think through the categories. But more importantly, I thought through my list of friends, not acquaintances, but friends, people I know, people I trust, people I know that will do good work and always be responsive to clients and clients' needs. And I very intentionally called those folks and spent time with them, explaining BNI, explaining how it works, explaining what I'm doing, explaining what the benefits are. And so for me, it was spending a good 20 minutes with them on the phone. You know, other people have a strategy of a larger, just invite as many as you can, and that's not a bad strategy. I think that's actually a good strategy. I am very adverse to kind of the I just met you, inviting you kind of thing, or almost you would quantify it as maybe a cold call type of environment. So I very strategically invited certain people, and because someone joined the previous year, but 4 of the 6 people I've invited joined BNI. 2 didn't. But those were very strategic invites. So that's how I look at it, is who's going to gel with the group, who has business maturity, who's going to benefit from the group, all those things. And that's how I approached it. And it's different from where other people approach it.
So what I'm hearing is you, right from the beginning, you started thinking, who can I bring to the table? Rather than just be at the table, who can I bring to the table? And then you're very strategic about who you invited and how you invited, very thoughtful in your approach. Are there any of those people that you did bring to the table that's special? I know they're probably all special, but maybe special to you or special to the group?
Right. Well, one of the ones I brought is a guy named Curtis McAdams at Umpqua Bank. So Curtis, I've known since I literally started my business, and I've been in business, I think it's 13 years. I have to do the math, 13 or 14, something like that. He was my business banker. Now, I had never had a business banker. I was a guy that commuted to San Francisco every day and just went to the branch once in a while and did some things. But when I opened my business, and my wife was actually opening her business simultaneously, Curtis sat with us for like an hour. And at first I'm like, what is this guy talking about? He's just going on and on and on. Well, after that hour was up, I realized the power of what a good business banker can bring to a business. And since then, having that relationship with Curtis, he solved many of my problems that the 800 number wouldn't solve, or one of the other employees wouldn't solve. And so when I joined BNI, he had actually, the bank we met under closed the branch, so we both had to go our separate ways, but he and I kept in contact because we were good friends. When BNI came up, I thought, this is a great way. We need a good business banker. And so everyone that Kurt has worked with Curtis has been very, very positive. Both the internal BNI members and then their referrals have been extremely happy. And he helped one of my clients recently with a probate. The bank my client was trying to talk to was telling him to do all these things that weren't accurate. I sent him to Curtis, and within that day, he had everything straightened out for my client. So beautiful person to join our group and give great service.
What a gift to the group. Matthew, if our audience wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
I always say call because emails can, it all works, but I like a phone call. My office number is pretty easy to remember, 925-754-2000. Little hint to people, if you're ever starting your business, call AT&T, and for $100 one-time fee, you can get a special number like a 2000 or a 2500. Anyway, so 925-754-2000. And if you're really an online web person, that's totally fine. It's MatthewHartLaw.com to get a hold of me.
Outstanding. Well, Matthew, you are certainly a rock star, one of the top 1%ers. I want to thank you for taking the time and sharing your story and sharing with others what made you so successful. So glad to see you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Mike.